Canadian military generals and officers. So this royal decree I issued because I saw that many of the officers were discharged not based on facts, not based on evidence, but based on politically motivated agenda. And those who did not kowtow to the vaccines, the injections being distributed to the people, and that the military personnel at that time were being used. The military facilities were being used to deliver the injections. So this order was to reinstate generals and officers falsely accused of sexual misconduct, politically persecuted. Some of you may have seen, if you were paying attention to what was happening at that time, there were several generals and high-ranking military personnel who were discharged and then reinstated, and then they left. But you see that, yes, they were discharged wrongly, so they were reinstated, and then finally they said, no, we came back to prove that you did that, and now we're going to depart. Anyone would like to speak to that royal decree?
We'll start with Her Excellency Pete Fleming Soul, then Her Excellency Maria Magdalena, then His Excellency Michael Hawkins, then Her Excellency Sally Wong, and then Her Excellency.
Okay, and His Excellency Thomas, I think, is had his hand up. Thank you. Okay. Go ahead, Your Excellency.
Two words that come to my mind is restoration and justice. And this is something that, as I have observed, as I've been following Queen Romana, this is the direction that Her Royal Majesty looks at everything through those lenses. And I thank you for bringing restoration and justice to our world, because there's many, many wrongs that were done to those that would show any kind of opposition to their agenda, and those that would be standing up for themselves because they inwardly knew that what was being imposed was unlawful and did not have, like we would say, a leg to stand on. Thank you very much, Your Majesty.
You're welcome. Next.
Her Excellency Maria Magdalena.
Oh, I have not shown Her Excellency Darlene Ondi.
No. Right. Who's next?
His Excellency Michael Richard Hawkins.
Okay.
Thank you, everyone. Her Royal Majesty Queen Romana Didulo I has had we the people's backs from the very beginning. This royal decree was written August 18, 2021, and not only has Her Royal Majesty had our backs, but our military and our veterans that saw this coming and refused. I being one of them. I made an application to join the military in May of 2022, and I was not offered employment due to refusing to take a bioweapons injection. And when the commander of the unit that I did the CFAT test for admitted to me that he had good officers that were on leave because they refused to take it as well, I felt like I was in good company. But I could tell that that commander was also in duress. He was just doing his job, but at the same time, I was refused employment for refusing a bioweapons injection. And I don't know about how other Canadian nationals feel, but when my country is under attack and I come to apply for a job, I should have a uniform pressed and waiting for me. I'll leave that there. Thank you for this royal decree, Your Majesty.
Thank you, Your Excellency.
Her Excellency Sally Wong.
Thank you. I have a few points here, so I'll try to go through them very quickly.
Okay.
All right, I've underlined what's in this Royal Decree 13, and the Canadian military generals that were removed from their posts were accused of two things. They were falsely accused of sexual misconduct and or politically persecuted. And number two, they were dismissed from their positions and ranks. Well, they were falsely accused of conduct they did not do, which means that these personnel in the Canadian military are people with a moral backbone, integrity, and honor for truth. But they fell prey to the maritime law. And this is the result of the corporation government, which means that it is directed by foreign interests such as NATO, and we've learned that NATO is the policing of the armed forces. And the other thing about the people in control who would do such a thing, let go these high-ranking officers with moral backbone, is because in the old system, there can be zero justice. There can be zero proper judgments against corruption because, as has already been mentioned, people in the maritime corporation system, they come and go because they are paid off. And corruption is furthered because money can buy corruption. However, Her Royal Majesty, Queen Romana Didulo I, is turning everything right side up. And I just want to mention the last point that was mentioned on QRTRV World News yesterday. This is a quote from President of Burkina Faso, Ibrahim Traore. He had this long video, but he was mentioning how important the military is. Now, he's only the president. Well, not only. He's only 37. He's doing a wonderful, magnificent, unseen of these days. But this is what he says, and he should know because he's the president and he's the chief of the army there. He calls it the army, but in the Kingdom of Canada, this is the armed forces and special armed forces. Our country is a lot larger than Burkina Faso. But he says the economy, the education, all development of a country is based on the army. So this royal decree, don't mess with the people who defend we the people of the Kingdom of Canada. It is the armed forces and the special armed forces, of which Her Royal Majesty Queen Romana Didulo I is the commander-in-chief. She is a military person. Further, he says, President Ibrahim Traore, so each country should develop its army to be sovereign and independent. Sovereignty begins with the army, he says. Once you have a strong army, all aspects can easily develop. And that is no wonder why there is a royal decree, number 70, for the years 2022 to 2027. Royal Decree 70 is for the Kingdom of Canada's Armed Forces and Special Forces budget, $500 billion. Thank you, Your Royal Majesty.
You're welcome.
Her Excellency Julia.
I don't believe I put my hand up, but I think that I really want to support what Her Excellency Sally Wong, in terms of the moral backbone. The people in those positions in our military that were there to protect we the people were the ones that were specifically targeted, the ones with the moral backbone. They were removed. They were identified and removed. So it was a filtering process as well. So they could determine who they can manipulate and who they can't manipulate. And those that they couldn't manipulate were punished. So it's now we can see that also flips, and we can see who had the moral backbone to stand strong in that code of defense of the people and not be swayed at many great personal risk and compromise and sacrifice. So I thank those with the moral background from the armed forces and special forces and Your Royal Majesty.
Thank you, Your Excellency. Okay, who's next?
His Excellency Thomas Emmanuel.
Okay, one moment. Thank you. All right. Thank you. Excuse me. Okay, go ahead, Your Excellency.
Thank you, Royal Majesty. I am looking at that from point of under natural law. Under natural law, false accusations are considered morally wrong because it violates the principles of truthfulness and individual rights. Natural law emphasizes Homo sapiens have an innate understanding to distinguish right and wrong. So the correction has to be made. If they have made mistake, it has to be corrected. The promotions, if they have lost, it has to be given back. So the justice has to be served. So I look at that from a natural law point of view. Thank you, Your Majesty.
You're welcome. Okay.
I think it's everyone.
Okay, Her Excellency Lise would like to speak to that, and Her Excellency Violi. Can you scroll down, Your Excellency, down there and see? I think you have multiple people that's not on screen. How many are we?
His Excellency Herbert Serrani is dropped off.
Okay. All right. Okay, Your Excellency Lise, go right ahead. Perhaps
Okay.
have this microphone here so it's not right in front of me, but it's more.
With this special army decree, it was shocking to me, and probably bringing back the whole system, the whole corporal system was down now. Is how many of you? I was always against the army because to me the army were the guy being paid to go to other country and kill families. We know Vietnam, we know Arabia. I never thought in my whole life that the army was supposed to do what Abraham Traore is doing right now with probably all the degrees that Her Royal Majesty give us, showing us that actually they are there for we the people. How did they fool us to pay so much money in the army? Now I'm getting very proud of the people who are getting in the army because they are now working for we the people. And I wish that to all the country of the world. So thank you very much. That was a big point in my whole life. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Your Majesty, I do believe Her Excellency Gina Lee would
Okay.
like to say something.
All right. So Her Excellency Violi and then Her Excellency Gina Lee.
If the military is doing what it's supposed to do, it should have been the very first protection for a country against foreign invaders. And so I can see that what the cabal was doing by falsely accusing the military generals and other high-ranking officers and releasing them from their posts and replacing them with those that using our beloved Queen's word koto to their agenda, what they are intending to do was to weaken the defenses of a country so it is open for a foreign invasion, and to sever or cut off the main artery that provides defense or protects we the people. And so I am so grateful to our beloved Queen Romana Didulo I for this royal decree and the other 2 royal decrees, and of course all the royal decrees that Her Royal Majesty has written. Because come to think of it, our beloved Queen has thought of every single way to deflect the slings and arrows that the enemy has shot we the people with. And it is Her Royal Majesty that was doing all these protective maneuvers and putting in place every single royal decree so that we the people will be safeguarded and protected, and enjoy a life of peace and prosperity and happiness. Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, Her Excellency Gina Lee. Thank you, Your Excellency BOE.
Thank you, Your Royal Majesty. As many of Her Excellencies and His Excellencies have talked about, I do believe and agree that this was a strategic move to remove those with a moral backbone that would never allow for a invasion or a moral degradation of a country and the erosion of its security. And I think those exactly are the ones that they had attempted to remove, or they did temporarily remove. This royal decree, of course, restored that. I think of the example during that time where Her Royal Majesty made it known to the rest of us of the staging that was going on in the Kingdom of Canada with Chinese soldiers, robots being staged underground, ready to invade America, and how it only would have taken a few days for America to have fallen. And after that, it would have been the world. And so Her Royal Majesty had saved us from darkness because of this. And because of Her Royal Majesty's call to action and to inform those who understood the danger of what was amassing on America's borders. And I thank you very much for that position that Her Royal Majesty stepped forward, and the courage that it took for Her Royal Majesty to do that, to save us, not just here in America, but the world. And furthermore than that, we see it throughout the years, the example of what this moral erosion has done within the military in America specifically, that I can recall, with the Senate and the clown kakistocracy of what we see, of where it can't even be defined what a woman is. And you're seeing the total breakdown of this immoral setup for a country. And for those who would allow these things upon the people, those were the ones that were allowed to advance and remain in those positions, and those that were able to be bought and corrupted. And this royal decree helps to restore a nation's defenses by bringing back those with moral backbone to stand in defense of their people, of their country, and of the right of what is natural law. I thank you, Your Royal Majesty.
You're welcome. Okay, anyone else would like to speak to that? Okay. All right. Next royal decree number 15.